We're back in the building.
What's up?
What is up? And we talked a lot about Jimmy and Trey, and I think the whole shock value of Jimmy being back, it's kind of worn off. It's worn off for me, especially after listening to them yesterday.
What you have in those two guys, the one thing I don't think anybody's ever going to have to worry about is their heads are screwed on straight and they know how to deal with stuff. They know how to deal with the media. Trey's really, really good at it at a young age. It's crazy because we talk about he hasn't had experience in big-time football. Well, he certainly, I would think, therefore, has not had experience with big-time media either, but he looks like he's been doing it for 10 years already. So, look, who knows what they actually think inside, right? I'm forever going to have a hard time believing that Trey Lance was, quote, super excited when they announced that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be hanging out over his right shoulder. But they know what to say. They know what to say. They're super polished, and there's something to be said for that.
Does that speak to the 49ers culture? Do you guys believe in culture?
I do.
I do. I'm a big one. I know Steiny and
Absolutely.
JD were talking yesterday. They don't believe in culture. I'm a big-time culture guy.
Well, I mean, culture's not going to make a bad player good.
Right.
But culture absolutely matters because it's different team to team. You see it. But, you're right. They're so polished. I mean, Trey's 22, but he's not going to, that's my big bro.
Right.
That's my big bro. He kept saying that. And then Jimmy was like, hey, guys, I don't know what you guys know, but we got a great relationship. So I believe that actually is true.
Yeah.
I never thought it was about their relationship. My thing the whole time, I have no worries about Trey and Jimmy getting along. I have no worries about Trey and Jimmy sort of being able to navigate this the right way. My whole thing the whole time. So that's why I didn't come out of yesterday and go, okay, now I feel good. I feel the same. I felt fine about their ability to handle this the whole time.
You still feel like it's because of the doubts of Trey?
I feel like you have to acknowledge that there is on some level a hedge that just took place here.
I think it's
because that has nothing to do with their relationship or their ability to navigate this.
See, I think the more as time moves on and the shock value of Jimmy being back wears off, I still go back to 2018. It was like week 3, you knew the season was over. Once Jimmy tore his ACL in Kansas City, I was like, damn, C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, this season's a wash. It's a wash.
No, that side of it's great.
Jimmy's ankle is like, I was never a Nick Mullins guy, so I was like, damn, Jimmy gets hurt.
Was there such a thing?
Oh, there was
a Nick Mullins guy?
Oh, there was trust me. There was a Nick Mullins thing.
That night he beat the Raiders. Everybody was like, hey, wait a minute.
He beat the New York Giants, and it was like, Money Bullets. And it was a thing. It was a thing with a segment of the fan base. Maybe it spoke to the hatred of Jimmy Garoppolo, but the Niners don't want to be in that position. No, this is a loaded roster. If something was to happen to Trey, you want to go to Brock Purdy right now? I know you're Brock Purdy guy.
Larry does. Larry wants to get rid of both of them.
I believe in
Brock Purdy, but that side of it, that side of it's great because you can look at it and say, give me one other team in the NFL. Give me one other team right now. Lose their starting quarterback to a torn ACL.
Screwed.
And you're like, no, season's still on track. Give me the list.
The Niners have the best quarterback room in the league.
Yes.
Who's got that many options?
Well, that depends on how you look at it.
Well,
is their quarterback room better than Buffalo's?
I would say,
Buffalo's got one guy alone. To me, give me a superstar, and if Trey is that, then great.
But if Josh Allen goes down, we're not calling Buffalo Bills Super Bowl contenders.
They have the deepest quarterback room in the NFL.
But we're not calling Buffalo Bills Super Bowl contenders if Allen goes down.
Nope.
If Trey Lance was to go down, we still feel like the Niners can win the NFC.
I think it's about how many guys can you win.
I believe in Case Keenum.
He's good for a backup, is what I'm saying. No, hold on.
You're not winning a playoff game with Case Keenum.
I'm a
football guy. Game with Jimmy.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not like.
It's
not like Case Keenum's going to be some starter, but that's a high level backup.
So Case Keenum is good, but Brock Purdy's not good.
No, we've never seen Brock Purdy. Why are you always every road leads to Brock Purdy with you?
I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. You're listening to 95.7 Game KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 Game for the best and most up to date sports coverage. And don't forget, you can also watch us every day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on to search 95.7 The Game. Comcast Business Sex Line also has been great this season, today as well. So Jimmy, he says some things like, my mind wasn't made up. I wasn't even thinking about coming back here. And we did talk to teams about possible trades. And John Lynch said, hey, there was 3 teams and then the surgery happened. I don't know what to believe, but the fact is Jimmy is back. And he kept talking about his future. That was Langford pointed this out. Kept talking about his future and not necessarily helping the team get to the Super Bowl, which is very astute by Langford.
That's what stuck out to me. Yeah, it just felt like this dude has a plan of, you know what, I'm going to stay professional. I'm going to help Trey. Next year, I'm a free agent. Like, that's where I'm going to make my money. It's not like he of course, he wants to get on the field and compete because he's a football player after all. But he didn't say anything like, just going to help this team win a Super Bowl. Like, a lot of it was just, just looking forward to the future. This was a future thing. And the other thing that stood out,
of course.
The other thing that stood out though was when he said, "Yeah, I had to be there." When talking about practicing on the practice field, he's just like, "I had to be." It's just like,
get fined. He's on the roster.
I love that. He cleared, like, we were going after Jimmy and kind of making fun of him for it, but it's like, dude, he didn't want to be there.
Look. That was actually kind of true last year. I mean, he had a press conference where he said, "See ya."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and of course, that's what's at the core of all of this. And of course, if his number gets called, he'll be a professional and he'll go try to win football games, and he'll probably win some of them. But I think it would be silly of us to put on Jimmy in this situation after the ride he's been on with this organization. He's not supposed to be thinking about, his future, his next contract, his free agency. Of course he is. That's definitely where his focus is.
I think the takeaway has got to be just that the Niners did what was best for the Niners, and Jimmy did ultimately what was best for Jimmy. I thought Langford, you hit on it. I think that was the honesty moment of the presser yesterday, is when he's like, hey man, you got to be smart. You got to keep one eye on your future. You always got to keep. So he's thinking of free agency next March, landing $20 million a year deal, and where could he best get there? Probably here. And then he mentioned his familiarity with here and his comfort with the talent level around him and the other players. So I think it's all hand in hand. But I thought that was the honesty moment where he's like, you know what? This is really not about me or this year. It's about me next year.
And the other part was, Bonte, we had Jeff Howe on earlier, who covers the Patriots, who's covered them since 2009. And when Jimmy said, I've been in a weird situation before, believe me, or something to that effect.
I could tell you.
I could tell you, trust me. Well, I go back to 2014. There's a video or a picture of Tom Brady just sitting on the bench on his own. And that was after Jimmy Garoppolo went in the game because Tom Brady was struggling. And Garoppolo threw a touchdown. Apparently Tom Brady high-fived all the other teammates, just didn't high-five Jimmy. So, subtle shot at Tom Brady there. That's the other takeaway from the presser.
And
I try to find anything in these 4.5 minutes, Willard.
I
was picturing, when he said that, I was picturing all the talk about Kraft and the girlfriend and all the rumors. I mean,
last year, how weird was it for him?
Man.
How weird was it for him? Every single game, he's looking over his shoulder. It's like, man, this is the game they're going to pull him. This is the game they're going to pull him. But also, another thing, he talked about his shoulder. Grant Cohn asked him about his shoulder. The shoulder's not 100%.
He likes where it is, but
he didn't say where it was at.
Yeah,
I know you got super excited when you saw that because you're like, Brock Purdy, QB2 in Chicago.
That's right.
He's a QB2.
Once they get a Purdy, they'll never look back.
Yeah, he's already said he's the number 2, but yet the shoulder. Can he throw a football 30 yards, 40 yards, 50
I know
yards?
that begged to follow up. Like, what is the status? What's his status for? Is he going to be inactive in week 1, or is he going to be up on week 1?
That's good. That's a question for next week. I'm sure they wouldn't have answered that, at this particular point. But this is something I brought up to you earlier in the week, which is, like the second Jimmy signs, we're like, oh, well, there's a good fail safe. Like something goes wrong with Trey. Are we sure that Jimmy gets into the game and immediately is Jimmy that we know? So he hasn't faced defense since January. He's been through surgery. He has therefore not worked with any of the younger receivers, and it has been some time since he's worked with even like a Brandon Ayuk. I have no idea. Like, we're all acting like, we know exactly what Jimmy is, and in Chicago, if Trey gets hurt, that's what he's going to come in and look like. I don't know that at all.
He might not be ready to play for 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
He might not be up for the first month. All the talk about 3 quarterbacks. Maybe they love Purdy, but maybe this is about you got to have a number 2.
Right.
I hope someone asked Kyle Shanahan that question because then he'd answer it, well, I don't even know if we're going to be around next week. So
Right.
I don't even have a playbook.
The world's going to come to an end.
Make it up as you go along.
But that's it, Larry, because that's spot on. The $6.5 million is great for Jimmy G. Pay cut. He may not have been paid this year knowing what that shoulder is right now. When he admitted that, hey, I like where it's at, team's going to do a physical, be like, well, your shoulder's only 70%, 80%. I'm only going to give you $3 million or $4 million. So
I just think, and this is, Bonta, you know this. This is not normally the position I take in the room. I think you got to look at all of this with a little bit of a cynical eye sometimes. And it doesn't mean that anything bad happened, but they're going to come out and say into microphones that their motivations are a little bit more kumbaya than they are. Every word you heard from everybody yesterday, just take that and go, the truth is a little bit more selfish than what y'all just said.
Well, what Jimmy said.
Jimmy trying to set up next year, that's what's big for him. This organization has essentially told him, we're turning our back on you as our starter. And we're going to act like he's like, well, that's nothing but love. No, that's not nothing but love. And Trey's going to be like, I'm super excited. I'm sure you like Jimmy, you're friends, but no, this is not perfect for you because it does speed your clock up a little bit. And then the organization, wow, what an opportunity to have both of these guys. Well, then why didn't you want that in March, April, May, June, July, and August? So, like, it's all true, but it's all going to be rosied up a little bit. Everyone's going to be a little bit more out for themselves than they're going to say.
Well,
They're
here's
putting
the
a
quote.
smile on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. But here's the quote that got me, too. This is another little sneaky quote from Jimmy G.
If that's going to take a blow to your ego, you got to check your ego a little bit. But
Brady.
no, I think you got to know who you are in this league, who you are as a player, who you are as a person, and I think that's going to carry you a long way. So that's why I'm really not too concerned about that.
And that was when he was asked about being a backup.
Right.
I know who I am in this league. And in his head, he knows he's a starter in this league.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that anyway. You could take that as, hey, it's like Jimmy being humble, or you could take that as Jimmy almost being very self-confident. You know, there's a lot of different ways you could read into that one.
That was a question from TK, and he actually tweeted out later. He goes, the obvious follow-up was to say, are you saying that this is who you are in this league?
Yeah.
And he said it never got back to him. His turn didn't come up before the presser ended.
4.5
so
minutes.
he didn't get a chance to ask that follow-up. And it would have been a good one. It's true. It's like, wait a minute. Are you saying, like, okay, you got to know your place in this league. What do you believe your place is in
Remember
this
last
league?
year, Mark, he was like, can I compete for the job if I come back? That was a big talking point. He's like, if you draft a guy, that's fine, but can I compete for the starting job? I think in his head, he wants to compete for that job.
Well, I mean,
no
he
doubt
is
he does.
He
There's
is
no
a
doubt.
starter.
Right?
He is a starter in this league. Does anybody have any questions about that?
No, but and maybe like a little bit of a self-acknowledgement of, hey, I'm a starter in this league, but I know I'm not a top 10 starter, and I know I'm a guy coming off an injury to my throwing shoulder. So, how do all these things factor into the equation of who you are in this league?
Or he's also just pointing to one thing that he's always been, which he's been very, very good team dude. So, in other words, is he saying, look, this is the NFL. You can't just make it all about you. There's all kinds of factors that come into play here, which we watched. We watched play out over the summer. So many factors, so that we ended up with a reality that we thought was the last possibility when we all left in February. So. I think that's why Tim wanted to ask a follow-up question. It would have been interesting to see what he said next to that.
The other strategic thing I thought was interesting is everybody's kind of thought that Don Yee and Jimmy orchestrated the timing on the shoulder surgery to somehow manipulate the free agent or trade process. I thought hearing him in his own words was very believable as far as, hey, man, I wanted to avoid surgery on my shoulder. And then I worked out for a few weeks and realized that wasn't going to be an option. That seemed, to me, maybe I'm naive, but that seemed believable.
No, I bought that. He's like, look, I'm someone who I don't like surgery.
Right.
And I'm like, I feel you.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Ask
Good.
Steve Kerr about surgery.
I don't like
need,
surgery
you know?
either. Who likes surgery? If you can do it without surgery, do it without surgery.
Absolutely.
It did come off like, we're always trying to read in between the lines as radio hosts, but maybe we should just take that at surface value. Like, look, I had surgery because I needed the surgery. Teams wanted to trade for me. They didn't want to trade for me. I tried signing elsewhere. They didn't want me.
And he was asked about the timing, and he's like, hey, man, your body comes first, and that's got to be the priority, and I got to get right. And I don't know.
No, it's not, Jimmy.
There's an actor who told me one time, when you're in the grocery store and you're looking at tabloid stuff, the craziest headlines ever, he goes, there is a shred of truth.
Right.
in
If that.
every single thing that's on there.
What actor are you talking about?
His last name was Baldwin. It was one of the smaller ones. But anyway, and I don't mean physically smaller, but I mean in name value. But anyway, yeah. I think it was Daniel, actually. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why I'm protecting his name. But he said, like, and I feel that way with these press conferences, too. Like, this is not all true. It's not all lies, though, either. Yeah. Like, they're giving you what they can, and then they're also saying it in the way that it needs to be said to keep the cohesiveness of the whole team and what they're doing.
So you're saying you didn't believe Lynch when Trey Sermon was a star in practice?
I mean,
now he's a Philadelphia Eagle.
I always want to know when those go down. It's like, okay, if you were having trade discussions and you were going to end up cutting him, why didn't you make the trade? Why didn't you? Like, how many guys have we heard? Oh, well, there were trade discussions. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? You cut all of these guys that you said there were trade discussions about.
Trey Sermon was going to be a damn good nighter, man. I'll tell you, he's going to be a damn good nighter.
I like that you owned your tweet. You were all hyped when they drafted him.
Hyped.
Oh, I was too. I was too. He was a great college back.
Like
Wait a minute.
Michael James.
Was it Brock Purdy hyped or just regular hyped?
It was two-team hype, right? Because he was good at Oklahoma and good at Ohio State.
I remember he got benched at Oklahoma. Remember P. Ryan took his job. So my P. Ryan. And I was wondering, like, why are they playing Trey Sermon?
But it's wild what happens in college. Because did you see Baldy's breakdown on Jordan Mason yesterday? Yeah. Okay, you want to get hyped about Jordan Mason, go to Baldinger's Twitter feed and watch what he did, because instead of just seeing like, oh, I like that 8-yard run, you watch the little idiosyncrasies of what he's doing in between the line. So then I go, all right, let's dive into what he did in college. He wasn't even their lead back. And you're like, so Kyle Shanahan loves the guy and some coach at Georgia Tech is like, not convinced. Like, how do we get here? And this is how undrafted free agents end up being 1,000-yard backs 2 years later. It's the weirdest thing.
I loved it too because Peter shouted out the scout Warren Ball. He's like, yeah, he dug him up on some cut up film and brought him to me 4 days before the draft, and I like that kind of stuff. The little behind the scenes, because it does tell you that, you know what, it's not John Lynch with some empirical data and everybody else knows nothing. You're leaning on your people, man. Whoever your scouts are, those are the guys who beat the bushes to find Womack and guys like Jordan Mason.
I mean, not to totally change the subject, but that's why I think you may end up seeing some changes in personnel in the Giants farm system this offseason.
Wow.
Because while we are going to, rightfully so, hold a Farhan Zaidi or a Scott Harris accountable, they can't be in charge of 350 players and work with them one-on-one on what they're, you know what I mean?
It's a group effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think they feel like something went wrong
by the way,
down on the farm.
I'm going to continue this, but Danilo Gallinari, for the Celtics, signed a big 2-year deal with them.
Done for the year?
Done for the year, according to Tim Bontemps. So,
you know what? That move, too, made that kid from Purdue, the big man, Trevion, come to the Warriors.
Right.
And my nephew's a huge Celtics fan. And like a couple weeks before the Warriors got him, he's like, man, Trevion Williams is lighting up the Celtics Summer League team. And now he's a Warrior because of Gallinari being a Celtic. And
now he's out.
Now Gallinari's out.
Big loss for the Celtics for the upcoming season. But, I was listening to Steiny and JD. We know JD's not a Kapler guy whatsoever. But I find it very, very interesting that last year when the Giants won 107, Farhan got a lot of credit.
Sure.
Genius this and genius that. And look, I'm not going to lose any sleep if the Giants say, Kapler, bye-bye. You're done. We're going to go in a new direction. We're going to go in a new direction to 2023. But it is bizarre that he's getting all the heat for this when Farhan constructed this team.
I think Farhan's getting plenty of heat.
Yeah, but Kapler, people are saying Kapler.
More importantly, internally.
Right.
I think there's
internally,
plenty
no doubt.
of heat.
That is true.
That is very true. If you're a Giants fan and you're worried that they're just over there like, no, it's cool. Yep.
There's no doubt.
There is heat.
There's a lot of heat on Farhan.
Rest easy on that.
But a lot of people are going harder on Gabe Kapler. Look at his options.
That's who they see.
Look at his options.
That's who they see.
Look at the options.
That's who they see.
Well, and also Gabe Kapler I think you look at him, he doesn't seem authentic. To me, this whole, he showed no fire. You said it yesterday, Bonte. Yeah. This guy doesn't challenge umpires. He doesn't back his players the way I would like to see him back his players. Many times he's kind of quiet in the dugout, and you kind of wonder where he's coming from. Then everybody's like, where's the fire? Then there was like a 3 or 4 day thing. He's getting ejected. Right. He's pushing Kai Correa. He looks like he's all fired up.
Did he push Kai Correa? I missed that.
Yeah. Well, Kai kind of tried to do what a bench coach does, which is
hold him back.
Gabe just kind of gave him a get out of here. I'm gonna, and Gabe's,
you can't show up
Gabe,
there. You
well,
can't- that's-
I mean, it
Gabe's
just it was a
forearm
bad.
is-
The off
Gabe's
bad look.
forearm is a
Yeah.
little ripped. A little guy like Kai Correa
Right.
can go flying across
But
the room.
that to me was like you're trying to be something you're not, and when you're trying to be something you're not, sometimes you lose the room. I mean, the team has sunk like a stone.
Yeah.
Since that point. I don't know how much of that is because of
It's not
guys
like
not
it's
believing in
before.
Kapler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just think the whole conversation to me, and Larry and I were just having this chat in the other room, like the whole thing feels quick to me. There's no way, and I'll be the front of the line, even though I used to, I was at the back of the line at the beginning of the year. There's no way anybody can say that Farhan Zaidi, Scott Harris, and Gabe Kapler have done a good job this year. You cannot say that.
Nope.
However, we are 10 months away from a press conference awarding him as the manager of the year. You want to fire him? It feels fast.
But was that it?
that
It does. But was that
feels fast?
The question has to be asked, though. I mean, Gabe Kapler takeaway last year is 11 games under 500. He's either 500 or less every other year. So what is the real Gabe Kapler?
right.
Is he a genius that led 107 wins, or is he a 500 manager?
There's a big
I mean, I
difference
think it's
between
fair.
accountability and dismissal. So yes, accountability and adjustments and evolution and all of the things that they need to do this offseason. But firing?
Well, I think it's.
Wow,
I think
that feels
I
fast.
think maybe firing is a tough question, but I think this is the appropriate time to have the stay the course or regime change. If you're a Giants fan, you've seen them climb the mountaintops. You've seen them in days of despair. Where are you on this thing?
Right.
Do you want to see regime change, partial regime change, or do you stay the course on a plan that we don't have a lot of? There's not a lot we can point to that's
Right.
encouraging that makes you say, "Yeah, look at this."
Yeah, well,
This is coming."
Langford, bring up the Hunter Bishop
tough,
thing.
the tough thing about like wanting to fire a coach or fire a GM is just, all right, well, give me who you want then. Like, there's not really many solutions. It's always, all right, you need a new regime change. Well, there's a chance that the new regime change, let's just say you fire both. Farhan and Kapler aren't here anymore. Well, next year, then you're giving a new GM and a new manager some just a new leash and new life, and all of a sudden we expect them to be a 107-win team again. I just don't think it's that simple.
No, it's not that simple. But you brought up something about the farm system.
Yeah.
Farhan's supposed to flip the farm system. You brought up the Hunter Bishop track.
Yeah, the Hunter Bishop one's weird.
6 of the players that were taken after Hunter, you said?
No,
or
no, no,
before
no.
already up in the
in
bigs?
the top 11.
Yeah.
We're going with the top 11 in the 2019 draft. 6 of those players right now are playing in the major leagues.
And what
whereas-
number was he? Was he 8?
10.
10. Okay.
10, yeah.
He's still where?
And now he's in high A still in Eugene.
hitting 220.
Hitting
Right.
220.
Right.
Yeah.
What
So-
about the catcher? What's the catcher's name?
Bailey.
Bailey. What is he doing?
Nothing.
Not good.
Nothing.
Not good.
Matos was the number 5 prospect. He's now 18.
That wasn't a Farhan.
That wasn't a
pick.
Farhan
Yeah.
guy.
He's
Pop.
picking things up
You know?
on top.
Kyle Harrison, Farhan pick, firing
Okay,
through the
that's one.
system.
That's
I
one.
guess here would be my point on that. If you do want to look at where the farm system was when Farhan acquired it, it is no doubt way better now. Way better now than where it was 4
I didn't
years
even know
ago.
that.
According to rankings.
Right.
Well,
I
but
don't
no,
know that. Like,
but
until you come to
it's
the big
deeper than
leagues.
that. You know, it's deeper than that.
I mean, I
it's-
believe it's better,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
just a
It's-
belief. It's not. It's like hope. It's
Well,
still
no,
not
but it's
concrete.
based on
Profar.
assets. It's based
Hey.
on what other teams want out of your system. It's not just based on.
We just don't know, though.
When are they going to arrive?
We don't know when they get to the big leagues.
We
Like
do know
Jerks
that
and
it's better.
Profar.
It's better than what it
maybe,
was.
But I
It's
remember
better.
Texas. Oh, we got a great farm system. Jerks and Profar, top prospect in baseball. He's not
Well, they
journeyman
don't
with
all-
the Padres.
yeah, no,
like he
right.
always had
They
those
don't
things.
all
So
pan out. They
A-Rod
don't
said
all
it a
pan
few
out.
weeks ago. You know, he had the baby bombers, right? Everybody's hyping them up. They became baby bust. So I don't know what this farm system's going to look like. I just don't know.
No,
Is
we
it
don't.
better?
We
I
don't
have no
know.
idea. I have no idea.
We
It's-
suspect it's better, and I
There's
would
a lot more
tend
down
to
there.
agree.
Yeah, there's
with
a
Mark
lot more down there
that
than
it
there
is
was.
better.
So,
There
and
is.
when are we going to see it? That's the thing.
Oh.
How patient are Giants fans going to be? This is going to be the 5th losing season in the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it's not all Farhan's fault. It's not all Kapler's fault. But those seats are getting emptier
But
and
it's
emptier.
Oh, no,
it's
it's a-
time
it's a
to
question.
verbalize a game plan, because I just heard Farhan say yesterday that he wants Yaz back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yaz he's going on to his age 34 season. He hit 220 last year. He's hitting 203 this year. I need to know why he's coming back.
But you know why
And
he's
Jock.
coming back.
Why?
Because he is controllable and cheap. And
There's got to be a better outfielder than a 34-year-old 200 hitting guy.
Yes. Now, I actually would be much more concerned with that if he had said, I want Yaz back as our everyday right fielder.
Well, he also said he
That
wants.
would concern me. Him being on the team or him competing in spring, same thing with Wade. Like, I don't want you to give him a roster spot now, but I'm okay if he's on the spring roster and he's competing for one of the spots. But look, they've got 4 spots
He also
next
said he's
year.
open to bringing back Jock.
Yeah.
Jock was at least an all-star.
Yeah,
Jock at least is a real
Jock at least
baseball
did
card.
some
The
things.
table, once he
But
got slapped by
here's-
Tommy Pham, he was done.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but here's the issue with
He
Jock.
didn't hit at that moment.
The issue with Jock is that you also said, if you're Farhan 2 weeks ago, that you want 3, 4, or 5 everyday players.
Dude.
Jock's not an everyday player. Like Jock will tell you
but
that.
listen,
And
Neither's
there's
Yaz. Neither's Wade.
there's only
Let me-
4
can
spots.
I just read you some numbers here?
Yeah, go ahead.
For Yaz, this guy in June
I know there's
batted
no-
168. In July, he batted 176.
Yes.
In August, he batted 119.
No, he's
and
been
you want
terrible.
to bring him back?
Well,
And he's not even playing great defense.
I mean,
He's not
and-
playing
and-
great defense
and-
anymore. He's
and
still
the
playing
bright
for
spot
Spartans.
Is
they're-
controllable. I mean, how
And
about
Get rid of this guy.
Their
He's
answer,
not a major league player
their-
anymore.
their
gotta be
answer-
better guys out there?
Their answer, and I know that you're all going to hate this, but this is going to be their answer, and it would be in a lot of front offices. Through all those numbers you just gave, he is a 1.3 WAR player.
Oh my God! Don't give me the war.
That's going to be their answer. You don't kill the messenger. That's going to be their
Mark,
answer.
They
He's
need
not
to
even
take a
batting
shot.
180 in the last 3 months.
Listen, that
180.
encompasses defense. It encompasses walks. It encompasses. That's going to be their answer. And by the way,
Then that's a fireable offense. That's fireable.
To have him on your
that's-
roster?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's got a 1.3 WAR. Farhan goes up there and say that I got to go to Larry Bear or whoever's running the damn organization now.
I mean-
get this guy out of here.
There's got to
I
be
cannot see Yaz on
25
this roster
outfielders.
next year.
I can't see Wade back. I mean, Wade's hitting 170.
Batting third, Larry.
Yeah, I mean,
Batting
it's-
second.
Come on, man.
again, 10 months ago had a nickname.
I mean, these guys got naked pictures
and
of
now it's time to
people.
go
I
to
mean,
sleep.
what's going on here?
Late night Lamont needs a nap.
Look,
he needs to go like he's done.
Y'all are not wrong. My point is they do compete in spring for a job. They absolutely do. They had a good
come
year.
on.
They
Not
have
if
a
I'm
bad
running
year.
the show.
But
I'm getting somebody better.
There's 4 spots where you could have a quote unquote everyday player because you already know what's going on at shortstop. Brandon Crawford's over there, right? Joey Bart is the catcher. You're going to.
Welker probably is going to be your third
You're
baseman.
probably going to platoon. You know that Estrada and La Stella are both on your roster.
Listella, I'm buying out Listella.
Okay.
Goodbye,
okay.
Listella.
All right. We'll see.
I'm out on him, too.
Someone like Slater is going to be a part of the team, and you'd probably be okay
He's a
with that.
platoon guy.
He's a platoon guy. But your corner outfield and your corner infields are spots where you could go get everyday players, and that's what they're going to have
Would
to do.
Crawford be
Yeah.
willing to move to second base?
No.
I don't think he could.
Because there's some loaded shortstops coming in this free
I know,
agency
but
class.
I think-
Dansby Swanson, Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, and there's one more.
Trey
Who's the other?
Turner.
Trey
Trey
Turner.
Turner.
And Trey Turner's
But
the one that
Trey
makes
could
sense.
move. Trey could play second.
Yeah, get Trey Turner, take him away from LA, put him at second. See, that's why I'd
be-
love to see.
that'd
I'd love
be
to see
amazing.
Correa, but
That'd be
you're
amazing.
not moving
Yeah,
Crawford.
and Correa's he's had some injury issues with the back and stuff. Can you count on that if you give him a long-term deal?
You know, everyone's talking about the most comfortable spot to break the bank, whether it's Judge, whether it's Rodon. To me, it's Turner. Turner's the youngest of them all.
but he's
got
an
the-
East Coast guy.
Well, but
he's
again,
buddies with
you know
Rodon. It's a
my
package deal.
philosophy. You know my philosophy.
Money talks.
Just be the highest bidder, and if you get turned down, then I would run around Market Street going, "We offered $10 million more. He didn't want to be here, and I won't blame you. But for once, just be the highest bidder.
Yeah.
Be the highest bidder.
I don't know if that's in Farhan's DNA, to be honest.
No, it's not.
That guy's in his 20s. His skill set will
He's fast.
His skill set will age. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
that's
and
where I'm
also
going.
it
That's
takes,
what I want. And it takes away
some
from the
away
Dodgers.
From the Dodgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kiki Hernandez is a guy I think would be a perfect Giant. He can play a bunch of spots. He's athletic. I can bring back Yaz. I can't for no money to compete. I can't keep bringing back Yaz and Peterson and Wade. How do you wind up with a bunch of platoon guys? You keep signing guys who are platoon guys.
Right. What about Josh Bell? He'd be not bad at
Josh
first
Bell
base.
would make sense.
Not bad at first
He's
base.
a switch
Yeah,
hitter.
he's like a Farhan guy. So
Is he
I don't
doing
know.
any better? He was awful for
He
a
got
while
a little
after
bit
that.
better. He got a little bit
Yeah.
better,
But his
Bunch of-
lefty-righty splits are pretty even.
Yep.
He'd be a good replacement for Bell.
I agree there. Hey, you guys have a fun show. Have a great Labor Day weekend, man. A lot
Yeah.
of fun on the
You
road.
too,
Sister
gentlemen.
Langford. Good job.
Yeah,
Craig
man.
Mack, nice stuff. And Lubman, you're okay. Go enjoy your Hurricanes. Willard.